I'm already on the wrong thing. Okay, there we go.
Mm.
All right. You ready?
Let me shut the door.
Okay. Preparing.
All right. As all set as I'm gonna be, I guess.
Okay. All right. I guess I should look into the camera from this one. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're chugging, we're grinding those gears to get you content. Click the bell, subscribe, follow. This is the Hey Listen radio show, and we've basically called an emergency meeting today because something in nerd culture uh, is there's a great disturbance in the old Taku force. So we've gathered here the council of two bald ethnics to discuss. uh, anyway, we're here to talk about. We are gathered here today to talk about this Netflix's Cowboy Bebop. I think I was talking like sometime early in the year. I was complaining in G chat to you and Joe. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess I should say I'm Mike. That's Jumper Cables, otherwise known as Shell Casket, or
One eye.
yeah, across the wherever.
At
Uh,
some point, I'll pick one name, but I haven't decided which one.
you can be as many names as you want.
I prefer that.
Yeah. Some people, I'm Mike. I'm Mexican Sting on Twitch, but that's only because Big Boss's Remain is not allowed because there's an apostrophe. But that's who we are. Usually we have another black guy with us named Joe. He couldn't make it today, and also he's just some kind of heathen. He didn't. You can go back to our old episodes of the old Tagu connection on SoundCloud on HeyListenRadio.com and listen to Joe's reaction to the Cowboy Bebop anime.
Mm-hmm.
But Jumper Cables, why are we here today?
Screenshots were either released or leaked for a live-action Netflix Cowboy Bebop series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess we're probably going to talk a little bit about that Spider-Man trailer afterwards too.
Yep.
Which is funny because I feel like these things. It's weird because Gamescom happened today and they were talking. It was weird. They were like showing trailers for shit that was coming out in 2 months, which is like sort of what
Mm-hmm.
happened here. And I was like wondering, like earlier in the year, I was like, isn't Cowboy Bebop and like the new Spider-Man supposed to come out? Like, should we getting like stills or trailers like soon?
Mm-hmm.
And they've basically dropped this. I guess first we'll stick to Bebop for now. It's coming out November 19th.
Wow. Yeah, that is soon.
Uh, are you? First of all, we're both giant fans of this series.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you probably discovered it before me. Did you?
Probably not by a great deal of time, though. I think we both discovered it through Cartoon Network, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we could set the scene like in the early 2000s. Anime was kind of I don't know. There was like a renewed boom because of or interest in the West. Would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of
Well, more and more of it was making it to TV. You had your stuff with some modicum of mainstream, usually amongst younger audiences. But I want to attribute a decent amount of a broader anime coming to a broader consciousness to Pokemon, just
mm,
because that was like it was a
yeah,
household name.
Poke Fever.
Yeah, and more people came to understand or get some idea of what anime was through that, even if they had no interest in it. And what that just ultimately helped to do was kind of like normalize it, make it less of an obscure hobby.
Yeah, it's
And it just kind of built from there.
yeah, it's sort of interesting that when I don't know, for some this is gonna sound, I don't want this to sound weird, but I end up talking to a lot of kids who are younger than me, and by kids I mean like 5 years younger and like 10 years younger,
Mm-hmm.
and they all are very much like everyone. It seems like everyone grew up in anime, and especially like now when you hear like kids, especially on the internet, talk like anime is just everywhere.
I attribute that to the ease of access.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
it's stuff being shown on TV on Toonami late at night, or if you're just streaming and then something gets recommended to you on Hulu, Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
HBO, whatever your service of choice is.
Yeah, I mean,
Just about everything you can watch has some kind of anime on it, and often the recommendations don't even necessarily have to be you're into animation. Could just be, oh, this animated show similar to this live action show you just watched.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like Netflix actually, speaking of them, they want to adapt everything, but also I feel like they gave a good push to like bring anime onto their service, like
Hmm.
back in the day.
Yeah, there was a considerable effort on their part.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, yeah, I like just remember back when we were kids in high school, and it was like, oh, how many episodes have you got of Trigun? It's like I'm gonna have the next episode in like 3 more days.
Got a few more overnight
Yeah,
downloads.
in fucking 240p.
And
Yeah,
you watch that thing like 82 times.
yeah, yeah. You have to just keep watching it over and over while you wait for the next one to finish.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then where you've got to find a guy who spent like months downloading it, and he can like burn it onto a CD for you.
Hmm.
But yeah, Bebop is, I don't know. How do you describe that anime? Do you remember the first time you saw it?
I can't remember the exact moment. I just remember I saw the very first episode the first time I saw it. I was kind of like,
That's sort of lucky, actually.
well, no, I was a weeb for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So since I was 8 years old and first saw Vampire Hunter D, I was always like in the back of my mind flipping through channels looking for anime. I was also looking for pro wrestling, but that's another
Yeah.
story. So I was always on the hunt for it. So anytime I got any sort of like inkling, hint, clue, whatever, is that there'd be some more anime somewhere, I had to watch it. Didn't matter what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was seeing the commercials for Cowboy Bebop on Cartoon Network and was like, okay, yeah, let me see what this is about. And
Mm-hmm.
was not expecting to like it as much as I did.
Really?
Well, it seemed decidedly more grounded, and this is back when I preferred my anime weird as fuck.
Hmm. Yeah. See, I think I was attracted to. I'm. I've always preferred my things more grounded, but with
Hmm.
like a. I like when there's like a twist of the ridiculous, which Bebop has sometimes
Hmm.
quite a bit. That's why I love Metal Gear.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I for me the first I think I remember it was something that you would just I kept hearing whispered about all the time, like, oh, have you seen this, or like, oh, not even like enthusiastically, but like, just like people would like reference it in high school,
Hmm.
and so like I would always kind of be on the lookout for it, and I just have this memory of like being in my grandma's living room, like staying the night, and like because she had cable, and like having Adult Swim on or something, and
Hmm.
I the first thing I ever think I remember seeing was, I think it must have been like Black Dog Serenade, and I specifically remember it's Jet and his partner. He's like meeting with him again, talking to him. It's like really mundane, and then they go and have a
Hmm.
conversation in the car at the drive-in, and I know something about the mood. I just remember like falling asleep to that episode, and it was like calming. Like I don't know when I,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But then I had you remember my great hunt for every Bebop DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't just order online. I would go on family trips and go try to find where Electronics Boutique was to fucking hunt
Yeah.
down the next DVD.
Run into those used music stores and find their DVD section.
Yeah, yeah. I still have all those ones that I collected. I probably should get the Blu-ray or something, but
Mm-hmm.
um, anyway, what would you say? Where does it fit on your top 10 list? I'm assuming it's somewhere in the top 10, or maybe not.
I think it would. It would be closer to the bottom, but I think it would be on the top 10 just for
Mm.
the the comfort of it. Like I can watch any episode at any point in time,
Mm-hmm.
and always enjoy it. Always appreciate that I had it in front of me.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of anime that probably I probably have a stronger feeling towards, but can't always watch the way I can always watch Bebop.
Yeah. Hmm. That's interesting. Towards the bottom, huh? What's at the top?
At the when you're getting to the top of that list, you're looking at things that aren't just good, but also kind of speak to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the list shifts a lot.
Mm-hmm. But like, what are like the three that shift in and out?
Um, like Golden Boy is pretty high up.
Oh yeah, that one. We have a very personal connection to that one. Which it's
Yeah.
talking about the younger generation. My brother was telling me recently that he's like doing the thing where he has to show that shit to us when he's showing Golden Boy to everybody, which
Mm-hmm.
makes me very proud.
Oh, what'd you say?
Oh,
Kind of
just
cut out a little bit.
oh nothing. Well, what are the other? What else is in there?
Other things in the top 10, Airmaster is pretty high
Hmm.
up. Um, Grappler Baki as well, both the OVA and the um, like early to mid aughts series.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I know there's a couple more OVAs in there. Um, Not sure where the original Vampire Hunter D goes. Trigun is pretty high up.
Mm-hmm.
Both because it was kind of a contemporary of Bebop for me. It's also one of those things I can watch just about any episode of and enjoy. But there's some elements from that story also speak to me personally.
Yeah. Trigon. Yeah, that is like very tied to me in my brain. Bebop and Trigon. I think they were the first two series that I like tried to start, kind of like watching or catching.
Trigun was my first DVD.
Hmm. Interesting.
So I've seen that series a lot thanks
Ever?
to Adult Swim.
Not just anime?
Yeah, first DVD ever.
Huh. Interesting.
But yeah, I didn't even have a DVD player. I watched it on my computer or on the computer,
Hmm.
the family computer.
Do you remember what your
Um,
first VHS was?
no, but my dad bought a lot of VHSs.
Hmm.
Usually before I could want something, he'd bring it home at some point, or it would already be there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so moving on. What is like this? We've been talking about, as soon as you see something good like that, you're always like your brain spins about like what's the live action version, like what could that be? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I ever thought about it much more than I was on board when there were rumors that Keanu wanted to do it. He was like he wanted to do it, but the story is that the script was so oh, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Technical difficulties. Things are really slowing on my end. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, you kind of glitched out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Anyway, the Keanu version. Supposedly the script was so just bloated that it was unfilmable. It would have been too expensive.
Yeah, I think back in the day I was in opposition to Keanu, but like a couple years back, I think some some amount of time before John Wick came out, I flipped on that.
Mm. Yeah, I think I don't want to say I was ahead of the curve, but I think I was on board back
Hmm.
then. But then I kind of saw him prove that he could have done that just since then. Because back
Hmm.
then all we had to go on was like the Matrix. But yeah, I think he could have. I remember for a while I was saying that my pick for Spike would have been Ezra Miller, which is my feelings towards that may have shifted backwards. I don't know if that would. I don't know how I feel about that now.
Hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I've heard the name rings a bell.
Did you ever see We Need to Talk About Kevin?
No,
What about Justice League?
haven't seen Justice League
He's the
yet.
current Flash in the movies.
Ah,
Yeah. He also like chokeslammed a fan at a bar.
I think I did see that.
Oh, so you're
And
familiar with his work then?
yeah, it just confused me.
Yeah. It was a confusing video. I Anyway, he chokeslammed a fan who happened to be a woman, and that's all there is to it. So, well, anyway. So I don't know. What were your overall feelings of like? Did you ever think that? I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like you were a little trepidatious about live action Bebop, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I just didn't have a particular want for it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't remember what my exact feelings were at the time, but I think I just softened to the point of to quote a great man, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, yeah. And so here we are today. We knew this was coming. We were all wondering. We've seen interviews where John Cho has long hair and shit. There was like a little teaser where we saw the dog, but now here it is. I guess I'll let's see if I can throw that up. Yeah, here's the first image. I'm looking at the one where the three of them are walking down the street with Ein,
Hmm.
and this is like this is what we're getting. Like I don't know. What do you think? You just tell me what you think.
Um, it looks like a really neat photo shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like some pretty decent cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
I am not wowed.
So that's the word that I've been seeing thrown around quite a bit is cosplay. um,
I hope it looks good in motion.
yeah, me too. The overall tone of a lot of these photos is like it seems
It,
dark.
it feels the look of the photos, specifically the ones where they're all together, they look like they almost have a sitcom feel to them.
Yeah, which Bebop is a little sitcom-y, to be honest.
Well, there's some elements, specifically the more mundane elements of them trying to figure out like how to make money and eat.
Hmm.
So I guess it's not off base. Because honestly, the older I get, the more I appreciate those elements.
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, I was in it for like the action and just thought those bits were funny. But now, those are the bits I relate to most.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. This is the one with the. They're all on the Bebop. That's definitely like. It looks like the cover of Entertainment Weekly. So
It does.
some of this is like very like photo shooty. You know.
Yeah.
It's. But and this is going back to the one where they're all together. It's I don't know. this is what I kind of had this thought of, like some of the redesigns, which looking at it now, I'm bothered a little bit less, which is they're very like mild redesign.
I like Faye's redesign the most.
Yeah. So let me go over this. I think I have the most problems with Faye, even though I think it's okay. So Spike, something about Spike is I I like the way this looks actually, but I feel like his suit was always like a beat up old suit, you know? And something about it
Yeah.
in these photos, it looks really freshly tailored. And
Yeah.
just that simple change of the like the I guess you I don't know if you call it a collar or what. It used to be a flap that was missing a button on the show, and now it's like part of like it looks like future fashion. Like
Mm-hmm.
it sort of looks like he just is coming back from a club, you know, versus
Mm.
like versus like this is my only suit that I have
Yeah.
to wash and be in my boxers to wash because it's my only pair of clothes.
It's the only clothes I had. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like it kind of it's very subtle, but I think it says something different. I don't think it's that it'll probably won't be that big a deal on the show. And like I said, I like the way it looks, but it does say that like I'm gonna be in a club for some reason.
Well, it does. It does. How do I put this? It makes Spike seem significantly, not significantly less nonchalant, but like it seems a bit less natural or more of a kind of gives me an impression it's he's more conscious of what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean it's stylish and cool, which
Mm-hmm.
you think of Spike and you think of that, and I, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I guess I like it, kind of. But there's also something about Netflix production design that always looks sort of. It just looks like it's from a wardrobe, and it looks like they're on a
Mm-hmm.
spray painted set. And part of the
Yeah.
reason for that is that it's shot digitally, and you can kind of see a lot of that spray paint.
Well, there's a whole lot of color to the lighting in all of these
Hmm.
screenshots,
Yeah, some of them I like, and some of them I think are I don't know, but
which could be nice to look at again in motion. It could be really nice to look at, but it stands out in an odd way when you're
yeah,
just looking at the screen grabs.
yeah, it could be. So going back to the picture of the three of them walking together, it's like I feel like Spike is almost switched with Faye, where it's like they gave Spike a little bit more sex appeal and took
Hmm.
some away from Faye, which is like obviously you would want to do that for Faye. Like
Well, her outfit seemed to defy gravity at times in
it
the
did.
anime.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously want to like tone that down for a live action, but I feel like it's almost
Mhm.
too toned down to the point where it's like sort of changed her character a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, because she actively used it.
Yeah, yeah. It was like a she. I mean, she used it as a weapon to lure people in. You know,
Exactly. Yeah,
which is
there was a conscious effort on her part. It wasn't just the animators were horny.
yeah. Let's see, where's that picture? Yeah. Which I mean, she still is like a pretty woman, and
Hmm. But yeah, when you put it that way, I do wonder if they're going to tone that. Not even just tone it down. I'm kind of worried they're going to try and turn that off.
yeah, it's a big part of her, and I think it's also a part of her vulnerability too. Like the way
Hmm.
the show sort of peels her back and reveals her as something more than what she puts out there, which is this very like outwardly like predatorial sexual woman.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's I mean it's but like other than that, like I like how they did the yellow part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, and I like that the red is now like a full coat versus just like it looked like she was wearing a blouse over a weird yellow jacket.
Yeah, I think if I
It looked like she was wearing her shirt over her jacket. You
yeah.
know, it was just weird anime stuff.
Yeah, it was, but there's something about it I liked that it showed her forearms before. Like I think I would want to see like some like I hate to say more skin, but like more skin, but not even necessarily in a just for like from a design standpoint like I'd
Hmm.
want to see her arms 'cause,
Maybe if they rolled the sleeves up a bit.
yeah, that's I feel like that would be more in tune with what it was before.
Yeah, you know
And
what? That is what's missing.
yeah, and I think the like just like some of the personality is taken away. Whereas like I think Spike still has that personality in his suit.
Hmm.
I feel like hers is taken away, and then that would make her gloves pop more. Which they also like muted the color of the gloves. I think her gloves were brighter before or
Yeah,
different.
and she only wore them when she was gonna punch people.
Yeah, and the jacket I don't know. It seems it's like a little too dark for me. And the shorts really they just completely changed the color.
Hmm.
And then they gave her these like boots that cover up a lot of like it's interesting. It's almost like it's not that they. My problem
Yeah,
with
they're
this,
going out of their way to cover her. Come to think,
yeah,
excuse me. Come to
yeah.
think of it, yeah.
Like to me, it's
Isn't
like it's not that they desexualized her. It's that they like they went into like the opposite direction where they almost like militarized her too much.
yeah.
Which is like I get it, she's a bounty hunter, but it's like there's still this. It, it's
The sexualization was one of her means.
yeah, there's that, but also
The same way the sort of like weird lankiness and uh, perception of cluelessness from Spike is one of his.
yeah, but it's also it's just like yeah, it's just the design is weird. Like as a designer, I would like to see more versions of this that look better. It looks
Hmm.
like the coat there's like nothing special about it. Like they could have got that off a rack to me.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Spike at least looks like they did something with it. Like I couldn't go to a store and buy that. Like it looks like you could buy everything that Faye's wearing.
Hmm.
Uh, so I don't know. It's weird. There's something clunky. And then
Yeah, basically, I think above the waist, I liked her costume, but like
yeah,
everything beneath it seems off.
yeah,
I mean, at that point, just give her pants
yeah,
with how much they're covering.
yeah. I know. And it's again. It's like you could cover stuff, but at least make it
Yeah.
like look cool. Like
Yeah,
it. I don't know.
at least have it like resemble the original outfit in spirit, which again, I think above the waist they got down pretty well.
Yeah. To me, it's just like
Just maybe make the jacket a little brighter and roll up the sleeves.
yeah, or even go in another direction where it's like fashionable still. You know, like I
Hmm.
feel like
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
So rather than exposing skin, it's just like, yeah, check this really
yeah,
nice outfit.
yeah,
Looks good, right? Yeah.
yeah, or it still looks good, but it's all I think they're like to me it's like they're almost there, but they're not like quite there. Like
Yeah, like they were still more focused on overcorrecting than kind of replicating the spirit of it.
yeah, I think they sort of played it too safe. Like even
Yeah.
just a few color changes on this outfit, I think would
Hmm.
make it more
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe if they brightened the jacket a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's okay. It's whatever. It definitely looks like a cosplayer's take.
Yeah.
Uh, but and then Jet looks
Jet's a bit too on the nose
he
for me,
yeah
honestly.
yeah he's
Specifically the boots. Those don't seem right.
yeah they look pretty
They look like spray painted catcher's cleats.
yeah. So here's the for me that it's like they sort of like flipped Spike and Faye's vibe a little bit, where like Spike is like a little bit sexier and more high fashion,
Hmm.
and Faye is a little bit less so. Which to me, like that sort of beat up old suit next to Jet like fit, like they paired together. But now it looks like some guy was leaving a cocktail party and like his car broke down and like he hired a mechanic.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like a young couple and their mechanic.
Yeah, it's the. I, I, but yeah, he's too on the nose. Like I don't know. Again, like the. It's like I don't know if the shoulder pads in real life are. What are they for? What is he wearing? I'm like I have so many questions
I
about.
mean, it looks like a jumpsuit you'd wear like if you were going to get in there and try to repair something. And the fact that Jet seems to live in that suit half the time said something about his character. But
Yeah.
I mean, they better let him put that stylish ass suit on at least once in this
Oh
series.
yeah, they have to. But man, that picture where he's in front of the car that's flipped over on fire, he just looks sort of.
He,
He
he
look,
looks really off in that one.
he looks a little dumpy.
Yeah.
But it's it's something about the like leg, like the
Yeah, the
baseball
weird.
protectors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his glove on his right hand really make his left arm look just fake. Like his left
It
arm.
does.
eh,
Like I'm hoping there's a lot of ADR on that arm or something
yeah,
because it does look kind of yeah.
yeah, some post processing, which you well, if I don't know. Well, I'm looking at it a little closer, and it looks like there's some details in there, uh, but yeah, it looks like he's wearing something over it.
Mhm.
Oops. um. Yeah. I don't know. And then just the red T-shirt. I don't know. He. I guess he looks dumpy, but he looked dumpy on the show.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of it that I guess is by design, and I don't know. It's just like they did kind of an over redesign with Faye. I think there was maybe an under redesign with Jet.
Yeah.
It just like there's too many small elements that kind of like look out of place, but I don't have the knowledge of design to really say what other than maybe just give him some bigger boots rather than that weird leg armor he's got.
Yeah. That's yeah. I just. I don't know. It just seems like some of the worries that I have are like things that I hate about Netflix productions are
Mm-hmm.
like coming through where stuff just looks a little bit cheap or just like there's no vision. Like
Yeah, like they just tried to do a one-to-one recreation.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the dog is the dog. You like the dog?
Yeah, I like corgis. They're
um,
cute.
and there's no Ed, which
Aw.
like, and I was looking through the episode list for the anime the other night because I thought about watching it, and I thought Ed showed up at like episode 6, but I don't think she actually shows up until like episode 8 or 9 or something like that.
Um, yeah, yeah, cause Fallen Angels that was like 5, right?
Yeah, that's 5.
Yeah, and then there's a few episodes after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, a little ways in.
yeah. So I'm thinking maybe I don't know, maybe she shows up in season 2 or something like that.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah, what do you think of this image? It's actually a recreation of basically some of the first shots in the anime, where it's like him with the what do you call that thing?
Oh yeah, he was just kind of like shadow boxing in the anime, but here they got him working on one of those wooden Wing Chun dummies.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I was gonna say maybe this version of the crew is making more money, but it's probably more likely Spike or Jet found that thing somewhere.
Yeah, I mean it looks a little put together. You like those
Yeah.
nips?
know, for the those of you that like man nips, there they are.
Yeah, there they are. John Cho.
It's a little weird. He's wearing a belt.
Yeah, you see that belt buckle?
Yeah.
It's a tidal wave and it says water, which I guess is a little reference to Bruce Lee, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know, formless like water and shit.
Yeah.
Man, you can really see the beads of sweat if you zoom in on his belly. Yeah.
Yep.
But speaking of this, what do you think of his hair?
It's okay. John Cho, he just seems like a weird pick for Spike.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think when I heard it, I was like, okay. I was like, I think I like that. And I think I do like that. And I think the hair is okay. The hair could have been really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like he's just going black hair, no green.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Faye has kept a little bit of the purple.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I think the hair is like they could have. It didn't stick out, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he cuts the silhouette okay. But yeah, I don't know. In this picture, I guess you can see kind of a lot of the Bebop. You can see kind of a lot of the Bebop in like a couple shots. Like, what do you think of what the inside looks like?
Actually looks like there's too much. It looks a little too clean. Like the only thing that looks right in that shot where the three of them are on the couch is the table.
I'm looking at the one that's behind Spike's head.
Yeah, that one. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at that one.
But yeah, you know, the couch was something I was looking at where I was kind of like I don't know. I guess it looks sort of old and dirty when you look up, but from far away,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like spray painted on. You know?
Yes, it should be a bit more beat up. I think more than anything, like I'd like to see like proof that like somebody put a cigarette out on it and
Yeah, yeah. See, that's actually the sort of details that I want to see on like the costumes. You know?
yeah.
Like there's just something, I guess, something about that. Like they tried to make at least Jet look dirty because he's a mechanic, but like Spike's suit is really, I don't know. I guess it's okay. Maybe I'm judging too harshly. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. I think that's what stood out to me in regards to Spike. Something seemed weird about him, and like this shot of them walking, it looks like he's thinking about how he's walking.
Yeah, I mean, with those shots, I give him some credit because I'm sure it's a photo shoot. Like, why would they ever walk like this in the show? I hope to God that.
I mean, if the only thing about that is of interest to me is that like maybe they'll do some original stuff here and have them work a lot more directly with one another. Because in the show, it was rare that they were all in the same place at once. It was usually one or two of them in one area, and then the other yelling at them through like an intercom or something like that.
Yeah. So like. Yeah, I guess like. That's the next thing we should talk about, and I guess it ties to one of the pictures. Is like how close or far do you think they should like stick? Like, there's this picture of Spike all bloodied up in the church holding a gun, which is like, okay, that's pretty spot on, you know? Like, like I don't know. Do you want more? Do you want something different? You want something similar? You want a mix?
You can give us. I would say go ahead and give us the hallmarks. You know, give us something like Fallen Angels, something like Jupiter Jazz, maybe an Asteroid Blues. But by and large, I would like to see way more original stuff going on, just because it's not like the anime's gone anywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
Because if you try and recreate it, the best thing you can do is something faithful, whereas anything short of that is just kind of like the best you can do is like point for point recreate the thing in live action. Like I don't think anything you do in live action with this series is going to be better than the series if you're just copying the series. Your chance to do something better is if you do something different. Maybe you depict something we weren't really thinking about, or something that kind of like makes a bit more sense or has a bit more impact in live action.
Yeah, that's true. And
Kind of
it's
work with the medium rather than work the medium to what it's depicting.
hmm yeah, that's true. So there's, I mean, the internet's being pretty hard on these, and I think it's hard not to be when it's like we've been, we haven't seen any of this shit before, and they're dropping it
Mhm.
like 2 months before. Um, I did read that this shit is basically like, it's, well, I mean, I guess it's coming out in 2 months. I guess I saw like a month ago that they were mostly done. Like even when John Cho got hurt, they were
Mhm.
still, they had like 3 episodes in the bag.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. And from what I've seen with some of the synopsis and casting, it seems like there's certain stuff that they're gonna. There's definitely a lot of, like, obviously it looks like they're doing Battle of Fallen Angels here, um, and we know they're doing is it Jupiter Jazz, or which one's the one with Gren?
That's Ren. Yeah, it's Jupiter Jazz.
Yeah, Jupiter Jazz Part 1 and 2. It seems like they're doing that because
Mhm.
um, they saw an opportunity to talk about like and cast like uh, someone who's genderqueer for Gren,
Oh yeah.
which is actually kind of cool. I which actually I don't know. I find really interesting because as kids, when you saw that episode, it was like, oh, this is like weird. Like,
It's like, oh, something happened to this person.
yeah, it was like and I think a lot of us understood what that was about. And honestly, I haven't rewatched it since I was a kid, but
Mhm.
nowadays, I think I'm not sure how people look back on that episode, but I think they look back on it as like well. Um,
Yeah. Well, for a lot of people, that's like their favorite part of it, and I think more so for just the mood of
mm-hmm.
that story.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It'll be interesting to see how they do that. Um, but stuff like that, I don't know. That makes me interested to see how they
Mhm.
update that and like talk about it in a different way or expand upon it in 2021.
Mhm.
But but yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm curious what they're gonna do. What is this? What is this gonna be? Like we don't know what it looks like in motion, and we don't know what it sounds
Mhm.
like either.
Yeah.
And we don't know how they're interpreting these characters. Once we see them moving, it'll be completely different. I mean, I imagine. When did they say this was coming out? November?
He said December, not December, September something.
No way, it's September. It has to be
Was it November?
December. It has. I think it's November 19th, isn't that?
Oh, okay, maybe I misheard.
I think so. But it's so we must be getting a trailer soon,
Hopefully.
and we'll get to see how they walk and talk. But
Yeah.
something about like all these pictures is like everything we saw is very gloomy and dark, and looks like it's all on sets. Which
Yeah.
when I think of Bebop, I think of like a lot of outdoor stuff and liveliness, and also the music.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see how those things pair together. And I
Yeah.
guess they brought Yoko Kanno back.
Yeah. Let's hope that. Let's hope that doesn't cause problems.
Yeah, that's I gotta say, there's a part of me that hopes that she does what she always does, and finally someone calls her out on it. Uh,
Mhm.
which, if you don't know, she sort of, let's say, took inspiration from a lot of other music, in very direct ways and never credited them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest example for me is Midtown Instrumental by Tom Waits, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
forget what the song is called in Stray Dog Strut, but there's a chase scene in there that uses a song.
Yeah.
And when I got into Tom Waits and went back and watched that episode, I was like, did they like license this music? And then I listened side by
Mm-hmm.
side, and I was like, oh no, they didn't. And also, they never, his name isn't mentioned anywhere in any sort of credit. So I don't know, we'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
I would hope or think that someone at Netflix would have a handle on that shit at this point. But yeah, well, I don't know. What's your, how excited are you for this?
Uh, Mildly interested.
Yeah, mildly.
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch the whole thing?
Depends on probably. Like it would have to. It's still at a point right now where it would actually have to piss me off in some way to not watch it.
What would piss you off?
Actually, actively piss me off or just be boring as shit. And it seemed like it would have to actively try to be boring as shit.
There's no way it could be super boring.
Exactly. So the more likely scenario is if I stop watching it, it's because it like pissed me off in some way.
Mm,
Right? Like if they like just completely disregard the characterization from the show,
mm.
that's probably the most likely culprit for. Sorry, hold on.
Technical difficulties.
Sorry, there were babies in the background screaming.
That's okay.
Yeah, the most likely culprit would probably be just like mischaracter. Is mischaracterization a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like gross ass mischaracterization. Like they would have to actively, and I can't. I don't even want to like venture guesses as to what they could do to that end.
Mm. I
But
think my worry is similar to that, but the opposite, where it would be like just a pale imitation.
oh,
Just
like
like,
they're going point for point in every way, and there's no absolutely no difference
yeah, but it sucks because they are,
because you can't replicate it the same way in live
yeah,
action.
yeah.
Yeah, that would suck, but I might be able to laugh at that.
Yeah, the thing is, it's could even. I think it will either be. This is what I think. It could be really good, or it could be like
Hmm.
bad but funny. But what
Yeah.
I think it will be is like somewhere in the middle. I think it will be okay.
Hmm.
I think it'll be fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last time we watched an anime adaptation from Netflix, it was Death Note.
Yeah, which okay, now it's my turn to potentially piss the audience off. It ain't that bad. You
I
guys are
mean,
just angry that it exists at all. It's
uh,
like if you want Asian actors to come in and play these roles, there's the Japanese film,
that's true.
and it's like there's four of those.
Mm-hmm.
You got a problem with Japanese movies? You got a problem with Japanese actors in Japan? Those they're not good enough for you?
It's true. Japan washes a lot of things.
Well, yeah. Then there was
Yeah.
like the really confusing bit where you had like whitewashed Major in Ghost in the Shell, and at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, off in Japan, you've got Japanese people playing European people in the Full Metal
Yeah, Full
Alchemist
Metal
movie.
Alchemist. Yeah,
So really, no one gives a shit.
yeah. But I just even apart from like whatever the casting was, like
Hmm.
in uh in Death Note, like I remember liking that movie.
I liked it. I thought
But
it was pretty good. I appreciated. I really appreciated what they did different.
mm-hmm, yeah, and they what was I gonna say?
And it's its own movie.
Yeah, which hopefully like this will be its own show, but like
Yeah, that's kind of what I want more,
mhm.
is for it to kind of be its own thing, but accurately depict the spirit of the characters in the series.
Yeah, I think there's something there. I think to me the most intriguing one is this one of him in the church with
Hmm.
and
Yeah, the fact that he's walking out
yeah, he's cut.
kind of gives you a very different impression of the
Yeah,
events.
he's covered in blood.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's there's so much that we need to see. Like, we need to see this shit in motion because Cowboy Bebop. I mean, it's an anime. It moves, and I remember so many like little movements, just the way he fights. Like, that's gonna. I'll be really impressed if John Cho can capture.
Yeah, it's a little weird since Spike, especially when he's in motion, is very rubbery.
Mm-hmm.
His kicks in particular, his legs are kind of all over the place. So
Yeah,
I don't know if they're gonna try and. I don't think you can really depict that. So if they kind of just go like serious business Jeet Kune Do, it would just come down to how well John Cho can depict it.
yeah. Which talking to about other Netflix stuff, like we've seen really good Netflix fights, like on Daredevil, and we've seen really bad ones
Yep.
on Iron Fist.
Hmm.
So but it seems like they this doesn't fit into like the rushedness of like Iron Fist had to do. It's more like
Hmm.
I feel like this thing's been in development for a long time, and he had training, and obviously he was going so hard that he busted something.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I still want Tom Waits' Doohan. They can make it happen.
That'd be good.
He's not in the cast list though, so but it's maybe season
Uh,
2.
yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, get him before he croaks. But fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
Y- I mean, it's probably a given. I'm a little concerned about Vicious.
You think so? Why?
I don't. There's just a small inkling they're not gonna do him right.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I guess we could talk about the shit that we haven't seen, right? So we hadn't seen Vicious, but you've seen
Mhm.
his headshots and stuff.
No.
What is his name? His name's like. What the hell is his name? It's like Andrew Vicious actor. What the fuck is this? Bebop. How is this not like the first result? What the? It's not. That's giving me the Japanese voice actor.
Hmm.
Um. I can't send this to you. Anyway, he looks like a. I don't know how to describe him,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Oh, his name is Alex Hassel. I've never heard of him,
Hmm.
but I'll throw a picture up on the stream. He's he looks I don't know. He looks like a white guy. I don't know. What's your
I guess
word?
it's a twofold thing of like they'll try to like overcorrect on him to appeal to non-anime fans, and that they may just like feel tempted to over explain or over depict him.
Like, what do you mean him specifically? I see what you
Uh,
mean by like maybe explaining his backstory too much or something, but
yeah, yeah. It's like a lot of the appeal, not just with Vicious, but a lot of the characters in general, is that the show had the restraint to leave in some varying elements of mystery to the
mm-hmm.
characters, and Vicious probably had the most,
Yeah,
to the point that it made him feel a bit monstrous.
yeah. I would say this guy has a monstrous look about him,
Hmm.
um, which is cool. It's definitely like hopefully it can work. There's no pictures of him. I don't know if they're gonna do the hair or what, but man, I really want to see what he looks like now. Now that I think about it, yeah, he's an interesting look. I've never seen him in anything before, but yeah, and they've definitely like gone older. Like Spike is like in his 40s and or John Cho's in his 40s, and so is this guy. But yeah, it's we're like looking at Vicious's design. It's very much like, how do you make that look? How do you translate that with like keeping the roots without just making it look absurd?
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess there's also potentially the fear of like leaning too far into it. Like as much as I kind of want to see him have the katana and drawing on people with guns, I don't think I need to see him cutting bullets in half or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's I don't know. Bringing a sword to a gunfight, that sort of thing can change the tone of your entire show.
That was yeah, but that was part of his appeal, and it wasn't just how do I
Yeah.
put this? Because it wasn't just a matter of like, oh, he's so badass he does that. It was also just okay, this isn't a matter of badass. He can hurt people more with a sword. That's the actual reason Vicious uses blades.
Yeah, but I
Because
mean,
he's a
like,
sadistic asshole.
I just mean visually in terms of like choreography and the way you
If
shoot things.
if if you want to ground things, you can make it knives,
I
and then
suppose so.
he's just drawing the blades quicker. I don't want to see him pull a gun on anybody. It's just not gonna look. It's not gonna have the same
I
effect.
mean, he used guns in the show, didn't he?
He, I think he. I can't recall him ever using a gun.
I think I think if they keep it more grounded, you go with something really dark, like this is what he like ceremoniously pulls out to like execute people or something, or like he uses it in specific instances, or like uh that could be like kind of fucked up. Or if you go over the top, like the good, the bad, and the weird, or like sukiyaki Western Django, you could just go all the way in and like just, but then that's like that creates a whole energy that
Yeah.
might be hard to maintain for a full show. But I would be cool to see actually.
Yeah, it's like you can position him in certain ways and still let him do that. Like when the guns come out, his henchmen can run up in front of him and do the bulk of the shooting. Because even in the show, it wasn't like he was when he the only time he pulls out the sword and isn't in range is on Jupiter Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he's in better range to use the sword than Spike is to use the gun when they fight.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
he's also throwing knives when, you know, maybe he's outside of it. I think he hits Spike with a knife in Fallen Angels.
Yeah, I remember he throws some knives at him at some point.
Yeah. So he's got that too if he needs to act within range.
Yeah, man, this is. I wonder. I wonder what comes out of this show if it's a hit. Like, and then people start rewatching the anime. Like, what do we? I don't know, in this world
I'm a
of.
little. I don't know. Because I don't know if I. It feels weird to say I don't know if I need more Bebop.
Hmm.
Just because I appreciate it as it is and it feels contained and complete. Um, I remember younger having a want for like prequel stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I wouldn't want them to over explain anything. Like if you do like a prequel anime or something like that, it can just be a side story that's entertaining but doesn't necessarily tell you any more than you already know as far as the characters go.
Yeah, for me, actually I would be down for a prequel anime because I think they explain just enough that you don't need it, but I think there's enough there that it's like you could tell it's like fully mapped out, and that story is solid enough that you could watch the whole thing. Like I don't think that there's a way that Watanabe could go back to that and like really fuck it up. But at the same time, I mean, like, I don't know, like more merch to buy or something, or like a video game with the original voice cast or something. Like,
no, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd be down for that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. You got any final thoughts on this thing?
Final thoughts. I hope it's decent.
Did this raise or lower?
I don't have any want for it to be bad. I'd like for it to be good.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't really have any expectations prior to seeing these screenshots, and now I have some modicum of curiosity over it. So I guess raised, if only a little.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. It is very cosplay, but we gotta see how it looks in motion. We gotta see the choreography. I gotta see how the acting is, what voices they're doing. I don't know. I just anything. I want the trailer now.
Yeah, me too.
I want the trailer. Yeah, it's, you know, if it's bad, we still have the anime. But and if it's, I had this weird thought the other day that, like, I don't know, I still kind of want to see like a giant version movie of it. You know, and maybe it happens. You know, maybe they do a couple seasons of this, and then they do get a big budget and do a movie the same way they did with the anime.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
But yeah, I really want to see more of the world, and I just hope the world looks cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because these are all like interiors or alleyways, and the worry is that the stuff they've shown looks a lot like sets. And these are obviously like production stills. They're not really screen grabs. They're like very posed, but just show me this. I can't believe, like, after all these years we're getting this show in 3 months.
Yeah, strange time to be alive.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. But speaking of things from 20 years ago that I never thought I'd see, again, you're gonna talk about that Spider-Man shit?
Yeah. And I've kind of fallen off a little bit of the Marvel stuff. I still gotta watch the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then get to Loki. And What If. But it just seems like their goal here is really kind of opening up that whole multiverse element. Because there was a lot of that in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, the all the shows have been good. You finished WandaVision, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, what did you think of the trailer? Do you like what they're doing?
I liked what I saw. I'm curious as to if they're just gonna use the multiverse shenanigans to hand wave the frame up.
You mean the setup from the end of the last movie? I think that's what they're doing, and I kind of like that, because at the end of that I was like, oh wow, what a great ending, what a crazy ending. But I was also kind of like, well, I actually don't like it when that, like, I don't. One of my problems is with the MCU, which is not a big problem, was that everybody just knows who everybody is, which actually kind of is how the Marvel comics are. But Spider-Man always had a secret identity, and he like kept telling so many people, but then it was like, I forgot what I was gonna say. But then like now the world knows. So I kind of like that. Okay, now the next movie is, we're setting this up as a reason to do something cooler, and we're not just gonna have him be like Iron Boy, basically, as I've heard him described before. And also we've sort of seen multiverse shit before, and seen sort of the relationships that they're able to build with the different spider characters, like Peter and Miles had in Into the Spider-Verse. So I know it's really exciting for me to think of the possibility of Peter, like Toby, coming in and mentoring himself, mentoring Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because they're very different. Like, I don't know, I just had this thought of like all the differences and things that people like call into question about like things they like from this movie or that movie are like now become character differences that they can talk about. Like I was thinking about the fact that Tom is so reliant on gadgets all the time, which is sort of weird. I just picture in my head like Toby being in to be like, what the fuck are you doing, and just like solving a problem like instantly with just like webs, you know.
Then again, he has organic webbing too.
Yeah, but it's like he's very much like your classic bread and butter Spider-Man. Like,
he also has to, like, Toby, I'd say of the three, he's probably the least scientific Spider-Man also.
Sorta.
He's
Oh, sorta.
Like he's getting by in a lot of these stories with decidedly more grit. like he's having to muscle his way through a lot more of this.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas what's the name of the
Andrew Garfield?
Andrew Garfield, he seems the most, how do I put this? He's I would argue that he's probably leaning the most into science, but he's the Spider-Man we grew up with, in the sense that it's science on a budget.
Yeah.
He's got to make do with what he can afford.
Yeah. I do like that. Yeah. I think Toby, it was more like he was like an educated man of science rather than practically being able to use that, you know?
Like, he knew well enough to kind of like diagnose the issue he was in.
Yeah.
But he rarely had the tech or the MacGyver-like skills to kind of throw together a solution.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And then Tom is kind of like, he's just had it all given to him. Sort of. He made his original hardware, but then obviously he just uses Tony Stark shit.
He's kind of had a lot handed to him, but he's also, I would argue that he's kind of had more responsibility hoisted onto him, in the sense that, unlike the other two, he's been put on like the main stage. Like, he literally had Nick Fury go up to him and be like, okay, you're up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas, like, I'd say proportionately, the other two Spider-Men are dealing with an equivalent level of responsibility. It's just smaller scope.
Yeah, well, they didn't have whole universes of shit to deal with, you know, which is... So I kind of wonder how they're going to play this. Like, I was talking to someone that I talked to Spider shit about quite a lot that I know from the internet, and we were kind of just like guessing, like, what's the setup here? Like, is it... Because Sam Raimi's doing Doctor Strange 2. Like, is there... Like, does this movie end with the villains showing up, and then we get Spider people in Doctor Strange 2, or do the Spider people show up at the end of this movie, or are they like showing up like half hour in or something? Like, I wonder how much we're gonna get of all that shit.
Yeah, I'm a little curious myself.
Yeah. And like how much, and I don't know, you hear all sorts of rumors too, like, then what after that? Like, it seems like the whole theme of this phase is like multiverse, so like it's just revolving around that. So it's like they're clearly doing this with Spider-Man. It's like and we know that X-Men are coming down the line, and we know that they've announced Fantastic Four. It's
Hmm.
kind of like, what are they like? What's like they? Because if they do this, they can just pull all the other shit. So my question
Yeah.
in terms of this movie is like, do they let Toby and Andrew stick around in some capacity?
My only hope in that regard is that we can get some resolution to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Hmm.
We were I don't know if it's fair to say we were left on a cliffhanger with him, but it easily felt like there was more story to tell.
Mm-hmm. I felt that way about Spider-Man 3 too.
Mm,
Um, I feel like those Peter and Mary Jane end up in a very interesting place where they've kind of have like that movie's more interesting than people give it credit for. Like at the end of that movie, it's like they've gone through this horrible thing. Like Peter was corrupted by the symbiote and just became
mm-hmm.
an awful insufferable asshole dancing
Yeah.
weirdo, and they both like watch their best friend from high school die, and
Yeah.
all this stuff of it where Peter's like it's the Sandman, like he lets him go instead of taking revenge, and they're just like together
Hmm.
at the end, and it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not like a happy conclusion, but I mean, you get the sense that they're a little damaged from.
Yeah. Yeah, severely so.
Yeah. In the same way, and I think Amazing Spider-Man 2 kind of ends with like, it's very hopeful. Like Gwen Stacy has died and changed his, changed his life. That's always been a huge pivotal moment for
Hmm.
Spider-Man, and they finally did it there. But then he sort of picks himself up and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this again, and like the scene with the kid and Rhino and stuff.
Hmm.
So he's obviously ready to go on more adventures, and there was going to be a Spider-Man 4. It's like, yeah, I hope we get, like you were saying, I hope that we get to see where these people went, or like where they're
Hmm.
gonna go, because there's stuff to be developed there,
Yeah.
and I really hope it's not just like a cash in like hand wave.
Yeah, like I'm hoping that if it's just a one-time thing, they at least give us a good send-off with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they've both been through enough.
Yeah. Every Spider-Man
Fuck.
has.
Every Spider-Man's been through enough.
Yeah. But then there's also the possibility that they could go hog wild and introduce like they could bring in like Gwen Stacy and Miles Morales and like Ben Riley and Mayday, or who knows what they could do.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know, maybe Toby and Mary Jane have a kid and it's Mayday. Like I don't
Oh,
know.
that'd have been neat. That'd
Yeah.
be neat.
I'm still waiting for that character. It's interesting because I know that there's a lot of like they're still gonna do Spider Verse 2 proper, so I wonder what they're gonna
Hmm.
have in there. But yeah, like we still haven't seen any of the other Spider Man, but it's like there it is, like Alfred Molina's face.
Yeah.
He's there.
Still, he doesn't appear to have aged much.
You don't think so? You think they de-aged him?
I guess it's possible.
I saw somebody online saying that they somebody was pointing out like, oh, all the cars on that highway are like pre 2008. They're like all
Mm.
old cars. So it's like I wonder
Hmm.
if they're pulling characters from like before they died, or
Oh, yeah, maybe.
which is, well, I mean, like the goblins there. So
Hmm.
that would kind of make sense. But yeah, I really wonder how they're handling it. This is such a crazy teaser, and I can't believe we're getting this in 4 months, three
Hmm.
months. What is it?
Thinking about it, that's probably gonna be some scary shit for Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's encountered some stuff, but he ain't encountered straight malice like the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pure insanity. Just like, fuck. That's crazy. Yeah, the Green Goblin, Doc Ock. I don't know. Yeah, something about Doc Ock too feels very like he's from the middle of Spider-Man 2 or something. I feel like they're gonna pull them. I don't know. I wonder how they're gonna do this.
I saw some suspicions online that if like this could potentially be a version of Doc Ock that isn't necessarily hostile towards Spider-Man.
Hmm. Maybe.
I'd be interested in that. I think just because his depiction in Spider-Man 2 was so sympathetic,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah. He. I don't know. To me, in the trailer, it looks like he's ready to fuck him up. Which.
He seemed it's weird because there's some menace there, but he also looks happy to see him.
Yeah, but he looked happy to see him in the movie too. If you go back and watch it. He was always kind of like, Butterfingers, you know, whoopsie daisy. Uh, yeah, yeah. Somebody, I saw some tweet online was just like talking about how great all those actors were because they were kind of just like they were just really hamming it up, like they were. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw somebody online talking about how great the original actors were, just like hamming, you know, just like they were on fucking Broadway, just really just killing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Have you seen like the breakdowns with all the pictures where people were like, "Oh, it's the Sinister Six"?
No, I've been kind of avoiding it.
Hmm.
Like the trailer's kind of like all I've really messed with
Yeah.
outside of occasional comments I glean before I click away from the page to
Hmm.
avoid. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you want me to not say?
Yeah. At least for the time being.
Okay. It's basically just hearsay. It's just fans
Hmm.
like picking
I
it
just don't.
apart.
I don't want any ideas to get too stuck in my head before I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, nothing is stuck in my. It's also. It's all pretty vague, like
Hmm.
the trailer, which I like. I like that. I heard somebody say that what they showed was like based on the first 30 minutes,
Oh, neat.
which is cool because it's not like the whole
Hmm.
movie, you know. But also like
Yeah.
if we're, I guess if everyone's showing up in the first 30 minutes, it means we're getting a fucking romp.
Yeah.
But
I'm for it.
it does seem like if nothing else, it's like a cool romp with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it's sort of weird. Like I don't know, our generation is running the show. I think, you know, sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, all the shit that was cool 20 years ago was being made.
Hmm. Yeah, it seems like everything coming out is either kind of like connected to, related to, or involves something we were into growing up.
Yeah, nerds are really we're ruling the world. We are ruling the world right now.
Yeah, it's just a weird experience. Is like so much of my interest kind of languished in the realm of the obscure. Whereas
Yeah.
now, like, I can't really think of a whole lot I'm into that doesn't have some sort of mainstream appeal now.
Yeah, I was talking to my girlfriend about that recently the other day, or I don't know if I was talking to her about it, but yeah, it's just like everything we like comic books and anime and video games are just like that's it now. It's just what people do, and
Yep.
we were sort of in that gray area where it was like I think when we were growing up, we were always like, oh, what, like girls do this too, or like you do this too. But then
Mm-hmm.
it kind of turns out that like more people than I think we thought were doing all this shit.
Well, I suspect it was a twofold thing. One of
Yeah.
which is, they were in that realm of obscure because people just didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, the people who had the potential to be interested in didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
Whereas now the internet makes information so available that anyone that could be interested is.
Yeah.
The sort of hurdle of finding or happening onto the stuff isn't really there
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, it's hard to ignore the box office. It's just
Mm-hmm.
right there.
Yep.
We sort of were like, there's this weird before the internet. Like we grew up as the comic book reading, video game playing kids, and then slowly
Mm-hmm.
it's like this shit got on TV, and then it got on movie theaters and the internet, and like now it's just like whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All it takes is a couple of good movies.
Yeah.
So video games are almost there.
Oh, I think they're there. But yeah, I always remember back in like in the 2008 election. That's when I knew something was different when The Dark Knight
Mm-hmm.
came out, and
Mm-hmm.
there was like some town hall where they asked Obama and McCain what they thought about Batman,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, huh. I was like, so we're at that level now, huh? That's really interesting. And they both had answers.
Well, yeah, yes. I think like that question could have been asked in the past, but the only thing anyone would say was, "Who let that asshole in here?"
Yeah, yeah. I still remember the answers that they gave, which were McCain was like he was like I like his sense of justice, and Barack was like I like that inner turmoil,
Mm-hmm.
basically. But yeah, that's interesting. Wonder what Biden's favorite anime is. Maybe it's Cowboy Bebop.
He's pretty old. It's probably Speed Racer.
You think he grew up on Speed Racer?
I don't know. I remember my mom told me she watched it when she was younger.
Yeah, I think he actually is probably too old to have been into Speed Racer.
Maybe it was Astro Boy then.
Is Astro Boy older?
Yes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or Gigantor.
Yeah. He's probably just like, back. I remember when back in my time, anime was real.
Pokemon are real.
Yeah.
Geodude is real and strong, and he is my
Yeah.
friend.
They're still real. uh, Corn Pop was a bad dude. Alright, you got anything else to say about Spider-Man and or Cowboy Bebop, or any kind of final thought?
Mm, Final thoughts. Um, yeah, there's almost too much for me to watch right now.
There actually is
Uh,
too much for me to watch.
yeah, there kind of is. Like the Netflix list isn't going anywhere, and I also got the HBO thing, and there's a bunch of stuff there I need to check out. Archer's starting up again, and it's going to be on Hulu next day, so there's that. And if I literally wanted to watch everything I had any kind of interest in, it's all I would do.
Hmm.
But I guess it's an okay problem to have.
Yeah, I barely have time to do anything, but fuck, there is just like way too much. I'll make time for Cowboy Bebop though, and Spider-Man, I guess. Maybe, even though Disney's evil,
Hmm.
fucking bastards. Ah, okay. All right. Thanks for checking us out. We have a lot of podcasts on heylistenradio.com. You can go there. You can go to Twitter for updates. Twitter.com/heylistenradio. Where can we find you at on Twitter?
At Otaku Connect,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully through that you can find other stuff I do on Twitch or possibly YouTube if I ever get around to it.
Yeah. Us too. We got a lot of stuff coming. I gotta do stuff. But life is getting in the way. But yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all at Hey Listen Radio. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Google, something, and iTunes. But yeah, did I forget anything? Did I forget anything?
Not that I can recall, no.
Okay. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. All right. Oh yeah, I guess I should say that. Yeah, we'll be back soon, sometime. This is just an emergency episode.